Hello, and welcome back to yet another video. This is the 32nd episode of a story in which 10-year-old Naruto meets Minato from future and that turns Naruto's life upside down. As Naruto lives a happy life in which he is trained by Minato and later Kushina too. After you've finished watching, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. To begin, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Let's get the party started.
After Oto's conquest, Akatsuki's forces fortified themselves in Kumo, surrounding it with an impenetrable barrier maintained by the seemingly unlimited chakra of the Uzumaki zombies. The alliance takes advantage of the enemy's inactivity to settle positions for an eventual attack. Meanwhile, Naruto, working at Iwa's medic post under a disguise, meets a girl who wanted some of his blood to help to heal her father. He agrees to help her only to find out that is Kako, the ninja who killed Obito, who happened to be alive and married with a woman named Nono. Nono. Naruto was sure that he had heard that name before, but he couldn't remember. Oh wait, I think that I heard it when I was ranting about Kabuto and Shikamaru told me his whole story, he thought. After that he couldn't feel angry with Kabuto anymore, seeing him more as one of Danzo's victims, swearing that he would save him if it was possible. He looked at the woman with a more inquisitive eye and realized that while she didn't have any negative feelings, the way she moved suggested elite ninja skills. Yes, it must be her. There is only one way to find out, he thought. Excuse me, but aren't you by any chance Nono Yakushi, the wandering Miko? He asked. Both Kako and Nono got tense by the straight question, enough to confirm her identity. Wow! It's really you. I can't believe that you are alive too. And married, having a daughter with Kako-san and running an orphanage in Iwa, exclaimed an excited Naruto. Both adults relaxed when they realized that Naruto didn't mean harm. Kaka, sweetie, please ask your sister Nene to prepare some tea for our guest and us, told Nono. Kaka nodded and left the room. Oh sorry, I didn't introduce myself. My name is Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze, Chunin of Konoha, said Naruto. The same Naruto who is called the Prince of Konoha, Jinchuriki of the Kyuubi and son of the Yellow Flash, who is becoming one of the most important ninjas in this war? You are very infamous in this place, commented Nono. Oh, it's because of what my dad did during the last war. No, it's not that. For them you are not the spawn of the Yellow Flash. You are the Konoha kid who got his parents back. It was really hard to explain to many of the children here that yours was a special case, that their parents wouldn't come back as happened with yours, she said. Those words reminded Naruto once again how lucky he was compared to other orphans, especially Sasuke, who saw his parents turned into Edo Tensei zombies, while he got his brother back, but it was not the same than having his parents. So you know who I am? Asked Nono, changing the subject. Yes, a friend, with access to privileged information told me about you. You were thought to be dead. How is it that you are alive? Asked Naruto. I used to think the same, responded Nono. When I woke up at Iwa's hospital, the staff said that I barely made it alive, that I wouldn't have survived had Katsuchi's team brought me 5 minutes later. If you were alive, why you didn't come back to Konoha? Asked Naruto. I couldn't. You see dear, during my recovery I was feverish and I accidentally slipped that I was from Konoha. When I woke up I found myself not in a hospital but in one of the medical rooms for injured prisoners of the TI department, she said. Why? Asked Naruto. During my recovery I accidentally revealed that I was from Fire Country and they found my son's pictures among my things, she said. They were Kabuto's, didn't they? Guessed Naruto. Yes, how do you know about it? Look, there is one of them, said Nono, pointing at a small altar with a portrait. Naruto looked at the portrait. The man pictured there had some similarities to Kabuto, especially the hair and the glasses, but he was definitely another person. Anyways, after I woke up that Tsuchikage came asking me why I had pics of the man that was killed 2 weeks ago in a failed assassination attempt on the Earth Daimyo, said Nono. What? What happened next? Asked Naruto. At first Nono was indecisive to remember what were obviously painful memories, but Kako's comforting gaz helped her to continue her tale. I just found out that my son was dead. I completely forgot about my training and bursted into tears while cursing Danzo for not keeping his promise to not endanger my son," she said. "That bastard, how he could pretend to be Hokage if he couldn't keep his word," thought Naruto. Nono continued with her story. "I ended confessing everything to the Tsuchikage, how Danzo called me out from my retirement as one of his agents and basically extorted me to work again for me in exchange for security of the children of my orphanage," she said. "You should have told the Hokage. He would have kept you all safe," exclaimed Naruto. "Would he have helped?" Danzo was one of his closest friends and a very respected veteran shinobi. "I highly doubted that a veiled threat from one of his subordinates would have been enough to convince the Sandaime to do something about it," said Nono. Naruto didn't say anything, not sure if the Sandaime would have disturbed the peace at the village with such little proof. "What happened next?" he asked. "I expected to be executed for being a Konoha spy, but the Tsuchikage offered me a deal. He would offer me a pardon and Iwa's citizenship under the condition of never leaving the village and telling him everything I knew about Danzo's operations," she said. "And you agreed," said Naruto. "Yes, I did. I didn't see as treason to Konoha. That point I realized that Danzo only cared for his own power, not for the village," said Nono. "Agree, the only traitor was Danzo." "What happened next?" asked Naruto. "The info I gave to the Tsuchikage frustrated several of Danzo's operations at Earth Country and the Tsuchikage got proof against Konoha that he showed to the Hokage. For what I know, the Hokage got so furious that Danzo operated behind his back that he ordered the disband of Root," explained Nono. "But Danzo decided to disobey that order and make Root a secret organization. What did you do after that?" asked Naruto. At that moment Kaka got into the room bringing tea and some sweets. To Naruto's delight there were some cinnamon buns among them, a liking that he developed due to Hinata's influence. "Shall I leave?" asked Kaka. Nono and Kako exchanged some looks. "I think it's time for her to know this part of our story," he said. "Yes, this seems a good time. Where I was? Ah, yes, after that I had a special status in the village. I had the same basic rights as a regular citizen with the exception that I couldn't leave and couldn't get in contact with people from outside the village. Technically I shouldn't be talking to you Naruto-kun, but considering the current relationship between the villages it doesn't matter anymore, but it was not the same on those days. After I got discharged I began to work at the advanced training grounds at Iwa's academy giving medical training to those students who showed potential. Ironic, isn't it? IWA starting a program like that before Konoha," said Nono. "That explains why Shizune was so surprised to see so many young medics in Iwa's forces," commented Naruto. "What happened next?" "Those days were uneventful until one day I found out that Konoha's orphanage closed its doors. It broke my heart. Not only I couldn't reunite with my other children but our home was gone. I always had the hope that one day I could go back home. I got very depressed after that. Some days I thought about ending with everything. I didn't have a reason to live, at least until I met Sato-chan," said Nono. "Sato? The one who is at the entrance keeping an eye on the other kids?" asked Naruto. "Yes, when I met him he was beating some kids who mocked him because he didn't have parents. I intervened to save them, and when I looked at his eyes and saw the same eyes that had many of the kids when they got into Konoha's orphanage. At that point I realized that both villages were not so different. After that I applied for volunteer work at Iwa's orphanage, helping the children with their homework, cooking for them, playing with them, teaching them useful things. At first many of the kids were wary of a stranger having such interest in them, but after some time they opened their hearts to me, including Kako and the rest of the staff," said Nono. "That's when you met Papa?" asked Kaka. "Correct, Kaka-chan. He began to work at the orphanage almost at the same time as me. The Tsuchikage assigned him to help those orphans who were also academy students with their ninja training so they wouldn't fall behind the ones who have their parents' support," explained Nono. "TCHK, the kids that Dad made orphans had better childhoods than his own son. The goddess of karma is a supreme bitch, thought Naruto. Elsewhere, in the world of deities, said goddess responded to the insult with her middle finger. But that was not the real reason I was there, explained Kako. The truth was that I was sent there by the Tsuchikage to keep an eye on Nono, to find out if she was still a spy and to make sure that she was not planning to brainwash the kids and turn them into Danzo sleeping agents. You didn't trust Mama? Asked Kaka with wide-open eyes. Not at first, while the information that we got from her proved to be crucial to wipe out the village of Danzo spies. For all we knew, it could have been a part of a bigger plan to turn part of the village's future ninjas against it, with the exposed spies as acceptable sacrifices for Danzo as part of the scheme, explained Kako. But she wasn't a spy any longer, pointed Naruto. Yes, but I didn't know, that. At first I only saw Nono-chan as a chance to do shinobi job again, to be useful for the village, protect some of our future ninjas and contribute to their grow, so while helping kids I, observed her, said Kako. Nono giggled a little at her husband's words. Did you know that he was watching you? Asked Naruto. No, he made sure that I didn't find out that he was watching me, but he didn't take account of the kids surrounding us and they ended believing that he had a crush on me, she said. They were right, didn't they? Stated Kaka. Not at the beginning, but when Sato asked me if I had a secret crush on Nono-chan, I went along with rumor to not raise suspicion among the kids while asking them to not tell her, said Kako. But I bet that the lie soon became a reality, pointed Naruto. Correct, after months of working alongside her it was clear that Nono-chan didn't mean any harm for the children, that she really cared for them and that she had no intention to brainwash them against their home. At that point I just had to write my report and return to my retirement, but I realized that it would mean that I wouldn't see her or the kids again. I asked for an extension for the mission, then another and another, until I realized that I felt in love with the woman I pretended I had a crush on, explained Kako. Ugh. And what happened next? Asked Kaka with stars in her eyes. I turned myself to Iwa's torture and interrogation department to check if she put me under a genjutsu to fall in love with her, responded Kako. What? Cried Kaka and Naruto at the same time. You won't believe how many times it happened. They checked that I was not under a genjutsu and after they looked at my memories they didn't find anything incriminating Nono-chan. Then I told her the truth and asked her for a date, responded Kako. That was direct, commented Naruto. Ninjas have short and dangerous lives with not many chances to find happiness. When you see one of those chances we should go after it, said Kako. Naruto agreed with his words. When you faced death on regular basis it was absurd to be afraid of your feelings. What did you do, Mama? Asked Kaka. Well, I was impressed for Kako's resolution and a bit disappointed that he didn't have a crush at me, at least at the beginning, responded Nono. You knew? Asked Kaka. Some of the kids slipped their tongue. At first I was surprised that men still found me attractive at my age, said Nono. Everyone's sweat dropped. What is she talking about? She looks in her 30s and is almost as beautiful as Mom and Hinata-chan, thought Naruto. I began to notice Kako. He was really good with the kids, a dedicated teacher with them, not bad looking, and then he told me the truth and asked me for a date. I accepted, we had a good time, we had another date, then another, then some more, and a year later we married, then I got pregnant and Kaka-chan came, said Nono. A great story, Nono-san, said Naruto while he got up. Listen to me, there is a very important thing I have to tell you. It is about Naruto-san. There are several ninjas from Konoha and IWA who want to see you, interrupted Sato while he got into the room. Ah, they must have come to take me to another place now that my secret location here at IWA has been discovered. Please tell them to wait a little until I tell Nono-san an important thing and donate some blood, replied Naruto. They are not outside, they are already here, pointed Sato while said ninjas got into the room. Naruto recognized Shizune, Akatsuchi and Urushi, the medic ninja who talked when he was still pretending to be Sei Urashima. The rest of ninja were 3 ANBU of unknown affiliation. He was disappointed that Hinata was not part of the group. "Hello Naruto, it's nice to see you again. We will guard you until the extraction team comes to take you somewhere else," greeted Akatsuchi. "Why didn't you come back to the facility as soon as you were exposed?" asked a concerned Shizun. "Sorry Shizune-chan, I just promised Kaka some blood to help her dad and I got carried away," responded Naruto with a grin. "So you were Naruto all that time, it explains why you stared at your girlfriend all the time." "Should we?" joked Urushi before he began to look at Nono with a mixture of surprise and disbelief, who was looking at him with a similar expression. Mother," he babbled. "Urushi, it's that you?" she asked. They stood there looking at each other trying to process what they were seeing while the most of the present people didn't know what was going. Why do they behave like they knew each other? Oh, of course. Urushi is one of the children of Konoha's old orphanage. Nono-san is his mother, deducted Naruto. He also realized what Urushi was trying to tell when they talked, that if Nono didn't leave she probably would have ended taking care of him. "Nono-san could have been my mother if it was not for that Danzo bastard. He took away from me a chance to have a better childhood. When I come back to Konoha I will pee on his grave," he thought. "Mother, you are alive," cried Urushi while he rushed at Nono. "Urushi," cried Nono with tears on her eyes. They embraced each other. A single tear appeared on Naruto's eye while he remembered when he reunited with his mother after a life without her. Shizun and the others looked confused at the scene. Kaka looked with curiosity at Urushi while Kako and Sato smiled, knowing what was going on. "Papa, who is that man who calls Mama mother?" she asked. "He is an elder brother of you that you didn't meet," responded her father. Mother and son embraced for several minutes, moment that Naruto used to give a quick explanation for the others about what was happening. "Mother, how is it possible that you are living at Iwa's orphanage?" asked Urushi, breaking the embrace. "It's a long story, a lot of things happened, some good," she said while she looked at Kaka and Kako, "and some bad." "Urushi, your little brother Kabuto is dead," she said while pointing at the small altar. "What? Ototo is gone?" "How it happened?" cried Urushi. "No, that's not true, Kabuto is alive," said Naruto. "Are you talking about the same Kabuto who is at Akatsuki's forces?" asked Akatsuchi. "Yes, that one," responded Naruto. "But that's impossible. I saw the portrait of that Kabuto in the bingo book and he doesn't look like my little brother," replied Urushi while he pointed at the altar. "That is not Kabuto, he was one of Danzo's goons," explained Naruto. "Could you explain better what is going on, Naruto?" asked Shizun. Naruto proceeded to tell how Danzo sent them portraits of a boy who looked similar to Kabuto when they were young, growing up to look different to the real Kabuto so they wouldn't recognize him when they finally met. He told them how Danzo sent orders to kill each other because they knew too much of his schemes. Then told how those events left Kabuto emotionally broken and vulnerable to Orochimaru's manipulations. When he ended his explanation everyone minus the ANBU and Kako looked shocked. I can't believe that one of the elders of our village would do something so devious," mumbled Shizun. "Now I know why he was called the darkness of Shinobi and that our villages would never find peace as long as he existed," commented Akatsuchi. However, for Nono such revelation was too much. She fell to the ground, recalling that day when she encountered her real son, the shock on his face when he saw who she was and she didn't recognize her. Kako, Kaka, Sato, and Urushi rushed to her side. What did I do? I couldn't recognize my own son and I attacked him. What kind of mother I am, she cried. Mama, don't cry, cried Kaka. Nono-chan, it was Danzo's fault, he is the only one to blame, said Kako. Mother, don't cry, that means that Ototo is alive, we only have to find him and told him everything, I bet that the Kages won't be too harsh with him, reasoned Urushi. He is right, mother, you will reunite with him, you should be happy that Kabuto and I-san is alive, pointed Sato. Yes, you are right, your brother is alive, that is what matters. We just have to tell him bring him back home, said Nono, regaining her composure. Urushi noticed the way Kako was holding Nono and didn't like it. Who are you, mister, and why are being so familiar with mother? He asked in a threatening tone. Oh, don't worry about that, Urushi. He is Kako, my husband and your stepfather, said Nono, smiling. Finally I meet you, Urushi. Nono-chan told me lots of things about you, said Kako. What? Babbled Urushi. And I'm Kaka. I'm your little sister, said Kaka. What? Cried Urushi, realizing that unlike his siblings or him, Kaka was not an adopted daughter. I'm Sato. I never imagined that I would have a sibling among Konoha's ranks, said the remaining member of the family. Poor Urushi didn't know how to react to that. I think that I should introduce you to the other siblings you have here at IWA, they will be happy to meet you, said Nono. She took a look at the Alliance's bingo book until she found Kabuto's portrait. Kabuto grew up really handsome, she thought. I'm sorry to interrupt, but I think that I should do the blood donation now. I just received a message that the extraction team is coming, said Naruto while he looked at his bracelet. Who is coming? Asked Shizun. Let me see, it's Kaka. Oh crap, cried Naruto. At that time Kako felt a pain on his chest. A spiraling vortex formed in the middle of the room and a lone figure appeared from it. Kakashi Hatake, the copy nin. He greeted those present. Yo, sorry for being late, I had to. He stared at Kako, who was staring back. None of them couldn't believe what they were seeing. You. Nono explains to Naruto how she survived and ended working at Iwa's orphanage and marrying Keiko. Naruto then tells her about Kabuto and Danzo's scheme to make them kill each other. Then they find out that one of the Konoha medics is one of her children, and before they could celebrate, the escort who is going to take him to another safe point appears. That man happens to be Kakashi. Keiko and him recognized each other. Naruto ignored the slight pain coming from the needle sucking his blood, he was used to it after so many donations. In comparison, the self-inflicted bites on his own hand to draw blood for summoning or sealing were more painful. And I have the advantage of healing faster, the pain doesn't last as long as with other ninjas, he thought. Thank you Naruto-kun, with half a pint B will have enough for the operation, said Shizun while she retired the needle and applied healing chakra to close the wound. How much time will last the operation? Asked Naruto. Oh, just half an hour with the combination of medical jutsu and your blood. The treatment on Keiko's lungs is not so different than the one that Tsunade-sama and I performed on Hay-8, by tomorrow he should be ready to be discharged, explained Shizun while she handed Naruto a blood-replenishing pill. I see, do you think that Kakashi-sensei would mind waiting until it is done? Asked Naruto. I don't know. In theory the extraction team should protect you until you reach the next safe location, but we don't have a time limit to bring you there, and right now there is not an imminent threat to your safety, and with Kakashi being able to take you anywhere in an instant, the safest place for you is near him, reasoned the medic. You are right, is he still outside? Asked Naruto. Yes, he has been there since he saw Keiko-san. Nono-san explained me the story between the two of them. I don't know how he must feel right now. I tried to talk with him, but he said that he just needed some time alone and that my work as medic nin had priority, explained Shizun. Naruto remembered what happened some minutes ago when the copy nin appeared before the man who killed his teammate. Flashback: Kakashi stared at Keiko like he had seen a ghost while the XIWA nin got in guard with an arm clutching his chest. Why you are alive, babbled Kakashi while his Sharingan took the Mangenkyu features and seal patterns appeared on the visible part of his face. As if, a 12-years-old brat could kill an IWA Jonin, prodigy or not, responded Keiko. The two ninjas stared at each other for several seconds that seemed an eternity until Kaka began to move to get between them with a scared but determined face. Naruto was about to intervene when the patterns on Kakashi's face disappeared and his Sharingan deactivate. "Naruto, I will wait outside, we will leave as soon as you finish what you came to do here," he said in his calm voice while he left place. Nobody said anything. That was anticlimactic," commented Urushi. Everyone looked at him. What? It was. End flashback. Naruto found Kakashi outside the building, looking at the distance. "Kakashi-sensei." "Yo, Naruto," responded the Jonin. "No. How are you? How are you dealing with it? Are you upset?" asked the younger ninja, unsure of how to approach the subject. "Upset? Yes, I'm upset, but not for the fact that the man who killed Obito is alive, I'm upset with myself," said Kakashi. "Are you upset because you couldn't kill him and avenge Obito's death?" asked Naruto. "No, I'm upset because unlike him I couldn't move on," responded Kakashi. "Move on?" Kakashi nodded. "Yes, after my initial shock of seeing him alive I saw how he clutched his chest and his cough and realized that it was due to the Chidori wound that I inflicted on him. I deducted that he would have been deemed unfit to continue his ninja career and forced to retire," he said. "Yes, that was what happened," confirmed Naruto. "Then I saw the little girl that looked like him and a photo where he appeared with that bespectacled woman and I realized that he started a family, that after losing his team and his ninja career he didn't succumb to desperation and managed to leave his past behind and start anew. I wouldn't have been able to do that," explained Kakashi. "Oh come on, Kakashi-sensei, I bet that you could." "No, I wouldn't," interrupted Kakashi. "After the loss of my team and your father I got into a deep depression and coped with it, focusing in my ninja career and becoming one of the youngest ANBU captains in history. I was young, talented, famous, attractive and admired. Most men in Konoha would have changed their position with mine without a second, but I felt empty and old, ignoring the promising future before me. I lost the count of the hours I spent before the memorial stone lamenting for the bonds I lost in my past, instead making new ones, no friends minus Guy, only colleagues, senpais and co-ace. I'm ashamed to admit that whenever the Sandaime tried to make me take a team of genins I had excessively high standards in hope that they wouldn't pass. That apathy from my part was one of the reasons the Sandaime didn't tell me that you were Sensei's son, rightfully deducting that I would feel obligated to take custody of you although I was clearly not fit to care of a small child. For that I'm sorry Naruto, had I been stronger you wouldn't had to live alone until Sensei came back." Naruto never imagined that Kakashi would blame himself for that. "You don't have to apologize for that, Sensei, you were barely older than me when you lost your precious persons, of course you were not in condition to take care of a baby. If I had been in your situation I probably would have gone mad and do a very stupid and dangerous thing," he said. Kakashi looked at him with a very serious face. "No you wouldn't, you probably would have been depressed for a while but then you would collect the pieces of your life and start again, like the real he would have done, you are that kind of people," pointed the Jonin. The younger ninja felt a bit uneasy for finding out that Kakashi had him in such high regard. "Sensei, when you were talking about the real he, were you talking about Oh?" "Yes, I was." "We talked enough, did you do what you had to do here?" asked Kakashi. "Yes, I gave enough blood for Shizune-chan and Nono-san to heal Keiko-san. Can we wait until the operation is done?" "I was told that it shouldn't take long," pleaded Naruto. "All right, but if I see any sign of danger we'll take you somewhere else immediately," stated Kakashi. Later Keiko took a deep breath and for first time in years he didn't feel the familiar pain in his chest nor the oppression that has been part of his life since that day he crossed paths with Kakashi's team. "How do you feel, dear?" asked Nono. Keiko made a backflip, performed several katas in fast succession and took breath again. "I feel whole again, like I never was wounded. Naruto-san, Shizune-san, Urushi-san, Nono-chan, thank you very much, I will be forever indebted to you," he said while he bowed to everyone. "I was just doing my job," replied Shizune. "Me too," pointed Naruto. We are family, there is no need to thank me for that, said Nono. I guess that the same goes for me, pointed Urushi. Before Keiko could say anything he was tackled by Koka. Daddy, you are healed. I'm so happy. Now we will be able to play ninja and spar and play better games and, babbled the girl while she hugged him. My work here is done, it's time for me to leave for another location, said Naruto. You really have to leave because I found you? Asked Koka with a guilty look. It's not your fault, Koka-chan, you found me because my cover was already compromised, besides, I won't leave completely, I will leave a clone to take my place at the medical facility, pointed Naruto while he created a clone. Naruto, is Kakashi still there? Asked Keiko. Everyone looked at him with a worried expression. Don't worry, I'm not planning to pick a fight with him, I just want to talk. Besides, I'm pretty aware that I'm no match for him, I did my best to prevent my skills to rust but right now I'm not strong as I was when we fought while he became one of the most powerful ninjas of the Alliance, he said. Ah, just that? He is outside waiting for me, just tell me when you are finished, said Naruto with a carefree demeanor. Are you sure about that? Leaving them alone? What if they end fighting? It could endanger the Alliance, complained Urushi. Nah, they won't fight, they are more aware of what would happen if they do, their pride will prevent them to be remembered as a pair of fools that couldn't keep their temper in check, pointed Naruto. Keiko found Kakashi outside, reading a book. Don't tell me that he is reading that trash in front of an orphanage, he thought. Looking at the front of the book he saw that it was titled The Tale of the Gutsy Ninja. That's one of the books that Nono-chan likes to read to the younger kids, realized Keiko. The Konoha ninja closed the book and looked at him with neutral face, or at least what it seemed behind the mask. Oh, it's you, Keiko-san, isn't it? He said. Kakashi-san, responded Keiko. The two of them stared at each other for a few seconds, unaware of what to say or what to do. Keiko was the first to break the ice. You grew up a lot since the last time we met, he said. You still look the same, responded Kakashi. I was lucky that you were still a kid that day, if your hand had been bigger I would have died, pointed Keiko. You were also lucky that it was my first successful Chidori, said Kakashi. Successful Chidori? Are you telling me that you had never performed the technique before? Asked the IWA Nin. It's a story I don't want to talk about, responded Kakashi, remembering how he, in his first mission as Jonin team captain, stupidly lost his eye wanting to show off his new technique without properly testing it or finding out if it had any weakness. That led to Obito sacrificing his life to save his from that boulder when he could have evaded it easily had he kept his peripheral sight. At his return to Konoha he asked the Sandaime to demote him back to Chunin, but the Sandaime and his advisors denied his request, arguing that there is no justification to demote someone who was successful in his mission, that Obito's death shouldn't have happened but that he was not the one who dropped the boulder and that it was Obito's choice to save him, that he should take it as a lesson and become the best Jonin possible in order to prevent more deaths. He noticed that the real responsible of Obito's death was still there. Okay, what do you want? Do you want retribution for what happened years ago? He asked. No, that's in the past, for that same reason I won't apologize for capturing your female teammate and killing the other, the Uchiha, responded Keiko. Did you come out to tell me that? Asked Kakashi. No, I want to ask you about this, said Keiko while he handed Kakashi the Alliance's bingo book, opened by a page that Kakashi knew too well, the masked Akatsuki member known as Toby. Is this true? Yes it is, said Kakashi while he looked at the sketch of a man with black hair, Sharingan eyes, and half his face covered by horrible scars. So I helped to create that monster, concluded Keiko. No you didn't, it's all Madara's fault. If he didn't create that monster he would have created a similar one to accomplish his plans, replied Kakashi. What Keiko didn't know was that Kakashi was telling those words mostly for himself, repeating like a mantra what Minato told him when he told him about Toby. Are you planning to go after him? Is that so? I will go too, said Keiko. Forget it, Only a few ninjas in the alliance can fight against him, and among them I'm the one with the best chances to win. He is my opponent and I will be the one deal with him," stated Kakashi. "If that's what you say, I won't interfere. You should go inside and take Naruto-san to the safe place. He is a very unusual ninja, not the way I imagined the son of the Yellow Flash," commented Keiko. "He will be a very interesting Hokage," responded Kakashi. If Keiko had any opinion about someone like Naruto becoming a Kage, he didn't say it. After a brief encounter with an acquaintance of Keiko, they were back at the common room of the orphanage. "Kakashi-sensei, Keiko-san, did you solve your differences?" asked Naruto. "We came to some kind of understanding. We won't kill each other, but we won't turn into buddies or something like that," responded Keiko. "Now that this issue is solved, it's time to leave, Naruto," said Kakashi while he revealed his Sharingan. "Ah, come on. Can't Naruto-Niken stay a bit more? He was telling us how he pranked his teachers with purple hair dye," complained Koka. "Don't worry about that, the clone I'm leaving here to take my place will tell the rest of the story," pointed Naruto. The little girl hugged him. "Promise me that you will come back, please. I will make you a chocolate cake as thanking gift, it is delicious," she said. "I'm looking for it, and I will bring Konohamaru and the others, your siblings, and you will get along with them," promised Naruto. Konoha kids and IWA kids playing together. "Until some months ago I thought that it was impossible, but this young man here makes it seem like something that eventually will happen," thought Nono while the original Naruto disappeared into the vortex created by Kakashi's Sharingan. "Well, it's time to go back to the facility, there are still lots of patients waiting for our care," said Shizun. "That reminds me that the original me didn't eat yet," complained the Naruto clone. Later that evening the clone was accompanying Hinata to the Alliance's quarters. The Kunoichi didn't take well that the real Naruto was there all time near her without being told, but understood the reasons to keep the secret. If someone saw her being specially friendly with one of the clones, it would have labeled him as the real one. "At least now we can communicate in an indirect way through the clone," she thought, remembering what the clone told her about Koka, Nono and Keiko. "So Keiko-san is really the one who killed Kakashi-sensei's teammate?" asked Hinata. "Yes, believe it," said the Naruto clone. "Now he is being tested to join this village's defense forces and..." Boom! The sound of the explosion made them lose the balance. "Oh shit, the enemy is here," realized Naruto. Several meters above IWA, Deidara riding a clay bird and accompanied by Ashina Uzumaki watched the destruction with glee. "Ha, ha, ha, ha. Did you see that? Finally IWA is having the chance to see my awesome art," commented Deidara. "I can't believe that you could take so much glee in destruction. Don't you have any mercy? Down there are people, your own people," cried Ashina. "You know, I thought that you would be happy to take revenge on the village that destroyed your home and killed your own people instead of talking on their behalf," pointed Deidara. "These are civilians, not the ones that attacked my village. Most civilians just want to be left alone and don't hate others unless they did something to them," replied the Uzukage. "TSK. I should have gone with Toby, Obito, or whatever he calls himself now. He no longer acts like an imbecile and it would have been a good chance to see another Sharingan user," thought Deidara while he dropped another bomb. Said bomb fell directly towards the medical facility, but before it made hit was intercepted by a stone golem. The blonde missing Nin saw a big man pointing at him. He recognized him as Akatsuchi, someone from his days as an IWA ninja. "Deidara-senpai, stop this madness," he cried. "It is not too late to come back, we can talk with the Tsuchikage and get a minor punishment," he said. "Oh shut up, fatso. I'm not interested to be again that midget's dog nor being in a place where my art is not appreciated. In Akatsuki I can express myself without any restriction. Here, take a taste of it," cried Deidara while he threw a pair of clay birds to the IWA ninja. Akatsuki responded with a small golem that intercepted one of the birds, but he was not fast enough to create a second one to counter the other. He braced himself to endure the explosion, but before it could touch him the bird fell lifeless. He noticed that the figure had imbibed a kunai with a tag that irradiated electric sparks. The bingo book was right, those ugly things can be deactivated with lighting chakra, commented the Naruto clone, floating above them. How you dare to insult my art, you moron, cried Deidara. But it is true, that's the ugliest bat I ever saw, replied Naruto. A bat? It was a bird, you idiot, roared Deidara. A bird? I used to make better birds with putty in preschool, at least when I was not trying to eat it. And what are you riding, a gargoyle? Asked Naruto. It's a bigger bird, imbecile. A bigger bird? I thought that we were riding a winged seal, commented Ashina. Naruto finally realized the presence of his grandfather. Gigi whispered. Hello my grandson. It's a pity that we meet again in the opposite sides of the battlefield, greeted Ashina. Meanwhile other parts of the village were attacked by Zetsu clones and some ninjas from the minor villages. Keiko was taking part of the battle with more or less success. Shit, I can believe that these clowns are giving me such trouble, I'm more rusted than I imagined, when this is over I will have to take an intensive training regime to recover my former power, he thought. He got in the roof of a nearby building to take a better look of the situation. He noticed that the Zetsu clones were emerging from strange trees with seal patterns that were not there before. For what I know about those Zetsus, they were created from cells that Madara stole from Hashirama. It looks like the Uzumakis managed to create seals that allow them to teleport throughout those weird trees, or worse, to create those creatures on the spot. Anyways, we will have to destroy those trees to stop the flow of enemies, he thought. He didn't notice the pair of Zetsus that were about to attack him from behind until he heard a familiar sound that has been haunting him from years. One that resembled thousands of birds chirping. He turned to see Kakashi impaling the two Zetsus like they were dango balls, shrugging them off like they were nothing. Yo, he greeted. What's going on? Is the enemy making a full assault as they did with Kyumo? Asked Keiko. Kakashi denied it with his head. No, they are attacking several strongholds of the Alliance at the same time, probably with the purpose of dividing and exhausting our forces. We must focus to destroy those trees and securing this village, then I will take some refreshed troops to other front and... They felt a huge killing intent directed at them. They turned at the source. There stood a man dressed with the Akatsuki black cloak with red clouds and an orange man in a spiral pattern with a blazing Sharingan eye in the only hole. The allies couldn't guess if the man was trembling with rage at the vision of Keiko alive or Kakashi and him acting as allies, probably both things. You are alive. The one who started it all, he cried while he charged at Keiko. The Iwa Nin threw several shurikens that passed through him. However, when he was about to impale Keiko with a kunai, he felt a hand grabbing him by the wrist. Impossible, he thought. The one grabbing him by the hand was Kakashi, with his Sharingan activated. That's not the way to greet an old acquaintance after several years without meeting him. As your senpai, I will have to teach you some manners. Obito, the encounter between Kakashi and Keiko didn't turn into a bloodbath, allowing the medics to heal the former Iwa ninja. Kakashi has a chat with Naruto pointing how his former managed to move on while he couldn't leave the past behind, then he talks with Keiko about Obito before taking Naruto away. When it looked that things calmed down, the enemy forces attack several crucial places of the Alliance at the same time through trees created by Mokuton and altered with Uzumaki seals that the Zetsu clones can use to quick travel. To make things worse, Iwa is attacked by Deidara, Ashina, Uzumaki, and Obito, the latter getting furious when he recognizes Keiko. He tries to kill the Iwa ninja, but to his surprise Kakashi stops him, ignoring his intangibility. That's not the way to greet an old acquaintance after several years without meeting him. As your senpai, I will have to teach you some manners. Obito, if the false Madara was surprised that Kakashi knew his true identity, he didn't show it through his mask. He looked more interested in the Mangekyou Sharingan of Kakashi. So sensei told you who I am, and it looks like he helped you to master the gift I left you, Kakashi, responded Obito while he got free from Kakashi's grasp with a quick movement. The response was some killing intent coming from the Konoha Nin, who delivered a kick that sent his adversary several meters away, in direct collision to a rock, but he phased through it. Keiko looked at Kakashi. So that power is real, and for some reason you can nullify it. I would love to see the fight, but I will be more useful defending the village than being near an untouchable S-class ninja who hates me and could use me as a hostage, he said. Yes, leave, this is between he and me, responded Kakashi. Obito got up, more affected for the fact that he was hit than from the pain on his gut. Damn it, his Sharingan really can counter my power, he really grabbed me. It was not a lapsus from my part for seeing that IWA bastard alive, he thought. Don't dare to refer to Yondaime-sama as your sensei. Only a few can call him that, and a piece of shit like you is not one of them, said Kakashi. I'm surprised that you still call him sensei after he failed to protect Rin or me. If Minato was half the ninja he was said to be, none of this would have happened, said Obito while he removed his mask, revealing the scarred half of his face. You got really ugly, no wonder why you wear that ridiculous mask, responded Kakashi with a despective look that he used on his younger years whenever he wanted to irk the Uchiha. Don't dare to mock someone's face when you are always hiding yours. Especially when I ended looking like this for saving your life, cried the Uchiha. Alright, I think that it will be fair if I show you my own face, said Kakashi while he removed his own mask. Obito couldn't believe it. During his younger years he tried to find out what was behind Hataki's mask without success, and now he was taking it off for making it fair. The surprise for the gesture was substituted by a bigger surprise at the sight of Kakashi's perfect face with a firm jaw, well-proportionate nose and thin lips. The only thing that could be called a defect could be the beauty mark under the mouth, but it only helped to look Kakashi's face more gorgeous. Impressed? At first the reason I wore the mask is because I wanted to be judged by my skills, not by my looks. The funny thing is that I didn't take account that females raised in ninja villages really find skill attractive, and if we combine it with the mask giving me an aura of mystery that made me more attractive in their eyes. Just imagine what would happen if they knew how I look, all the women would fall for me, so I decided to keep the mask, to give losers like you a chance, but in your case it will be better if you keep the mask, said Kakashi in an obvious attempt to provoke his adversary. It worked. Obito charged at him and he dodged the attack easily. Where were we? Oh yes, you were blaming Sensei for what happened. Who do you think Minato Sensei was to us? Our nanny? You were a fucking chunin. A journeyman ninja, a soldier under Sensei's orders who was expected to take care of himself when he was not around, not a baby who had to be constantly under his care. I always suspected that you got your chunin vest out of pity, your immature attitude confirms it. Rin was the only real chunin of our team, remarked Kakashi. Shut up. Don't dare to mention her name. Not after what you did to her. Instead of protecting Rin as you promised, you murdered her using the Sharingan I gave you, cried Obito. No, I didn't murder Rin. She killed herself jumping at my Chidori in order to save Konoha from the Sanbai sealed inside her. You were there, responded Kakashi. How do you know that? Cried Obito. Someone in the afterlife witnessed everything and told Sensei when they met after he sacrificed himself saving the village from the disaster that you helped to bring, you trash, replied Kakashi with a look of pure hate. I'm doing all this for her. To create a world where her sacrifice won't happen again. Madara opened my eye, responded Obito. Rin's sacrifice was really convenient for Madara, don't you think so? Pointed Kakashi. What are you talking about? For years I was asking myself how Rin could make such a pointless and stupid sacrifice, replied the copy Nin. How you dare to mock Rin's sacrifice, cried Obito while he delivered a kick to Kakashi's head. To his consternation, Kakashi dodged it and responded with a punch that knocked him. Don't you realize it, don't you? Rin found out that the Kiri Nines sealed the Sanbai within her using an unstable seal with the purpose of unleashing the Sanbai when she was within Konoha's walls. That's the reason behind her sacrifice, but it was a lie, said Kakashi. What do you mean, team? Asked Obito while he got up. Rin was never turned into the Sanbai's Jinchuriki. She was under a powerful genjutsu to make her believe that she had the bijou sealed inside her. Said genjutsu also included a suggestion that told her that she had to kill herself to save Konoha. Obito didn't say anything. Said suggestion was so overwhelming that made her discard the possibility that the 3 seal masters that Konoha had at that moment, one of them her own sensei, could fix her seal in a safe location and turn her into an asset for the village. As I said, a pointless sacrifice, stated Kakashi. And no. Rin was turned into the Sanbai Jinchuriki, babbled Obito. Was she? Did you feel the Sanbai's chakra? Asked Kakashi, because an unstable seal would have leaked and overwhelmed the area with it. Obito was beginning to have doubts about what he saw that day. And I know that it is true because Rin herself told about the genjutsu to Sensei when they met in the afterlife. She was never a Jinchuriki, all was a plot to assassinate her, concluded Kakashi. It doesn't make sense. Why would the Kiri Nines do that? Babbled Obito. They did it because they were controlled by your friend Madara. Don't you see it? Didn't you find? Really strange that he was asleep just when Rin and me were near Madara's lair? That they chose the Yellow Flash's student of all people? That his minions were really helpful although you were a prisoner? That you arrived just in time to see her death? That after your rampage Madara appeared with a plan that would allow you to be with her? It was all a plot to brainwash you to become his lackey and carry his plans, you moron. And you agreed with it. You became a traitor who, fused with Madara, unleashed the Kyuubi and destroyed the lives of our comrades. You are worse than trash, cried Kakashi while he punched the shocked Obito. And no, it's a lie, it can't be possible, babbled the Uchiha at the realization. No, it is not. The thing is that you can't face reality, including the fact that it was your fault that Madara killed Rin, replied Kakashi. What? Ninja rule number 16. A Konoha ninja captured by enemy forces will do his best to keep any info away from his captors minus his name and function. That includes any kind of village secrets, clan secrets or details about his comrades. What did you do when you were under Madara's care? You talked with his minions like they were old friends. Thanks to them Madara knew that he had to target Rin to break you. That's right, Rin died because you broke the rules. Her death was your fault, cried Kakashi pointing at Obito with an accusing finger. That accusation left Obito completely speechless, but Kakashi was not finished. However, the fact that you turned Rin into Madara's target is not one of the things that irk me more about you. It's your cowardice to face reality. You decided to ignore all the sacrifices that our Konoha comrades and predecessors made to bring peace to the ninja world and go with the infinite Tsukuyomi to bring a fake peace with a fake Rin. You say that you did all this for Rin? Bullshit. If you really wanted her back you could have used the Rinnegan to revive her, but you didn't do it. Hell, you could have brought her back with the Edo Tensei and then use one of Sensei's seals to have her back, but you didn't do it. I guess that you are afraid for her to reject you after seeing what you became. You prefer to get a fake version of her. You don't love Rin, you never did, you imposter, stated Kakashi. Obito was trembling with rage at the copy nin's words. His Sharingan eye took another shape for a fraction of a second. You don't understand anything. Rin was too good for this wicked world. The infinite Tsukuyomi will remake reality for everyone. I'm not doing it just for her but for all those innocents who suffer due to the ninja villages. Our plan will give them the chance to be with those precious people they lost, and it includes your own father, a world where he will be considered a hero. A world where everyone will have what they deserve, he cried while he attacked with a katana attack. Kakashi countered the attack with a kamui that swallowed. It's strange, I revealed that Madara was the responsible of Rin's death, but it looks like he completely forgot about it. Will it be related to the strange shape that his Sharingan took? He thought. Keep lying to yourself. I know that my father was a hero. I don't need a fake world to tell me it, but guess what? I don't blame you for the treason and abandoning Rin and everyone else. You can't be a traitor because you never were one of us, he said. What? Asked Obito. Didn't you ask yourself why you can use the Kamui granted by the power of the Mangenkyo Sharingan without losing your eyesight? The Mangenkyo Sharingan is a very ironic eye. It only awakens when the Uchiha is filled with supreme guilt for hurting a precious person, condemning the owner to lose part of his sight whenever he uses the extra powers given by it until it is transplanted into someone else, becoming the eternal Mangenkyo Sharingan. It doesn't need to be transplanted to someone related to the user. It was just an assumption made when Madara stole his brother's eyes. What do you mean with that? Asked Obito. Realizing that he never had to deal with the loss of sight associated with the Mangenkyo Sharingan. It's simple, we never noticed it because the eye transplant happened first, but due to it both of us awakened the eternal Mangenkyo Sharingan when Rin died, not the regular version. For that reason we never experimented any loss of sight for using the Kamui, stated Kakashi. It would explain your case but not mine. The only eye transplant I had was a regular Sharingan, replied Obito. Oh, but your Mangenkyo also counts as a transplant. You didn't ask me who was the person in the afterlife who told Sensei everything about you. He was an Uchiha who saw everything you saw through your eye. His name was Obito Uchiha, the real Obito Uchiha, stated Kakashi. What? That's impossible. I didn't die. Obito Uchiha died that day when the boulder crushed half his body, destroying part of his brain and organs. Madara's story about you phasing to his hideout? A lie. He digged out Obito's remains and fused them with altered cells from the Shodai Hokage. It's very simple, you are just a Zetsu clone attached to Obito's corpse. For that reason your Mangenkyo counts as a transplant and doesn't degrade, and why have my teammates memories and believe that you are him, but you are not. You are just a shattered reflect of my friend, a defective copy, a filthy imposter, said Kakashi with disgust. And no. It's a lie. I'm the real Obito. No, you are not. My teammate wouldn't have betrayed us, he was strong. He would have returned to Konoha, he would have mourned Rin's death and eventually would have become Hokage to keep making a world where people like Rin would live happy. He was not a selfish brat like you. That's what irks me the most about you, that you stole Obito's identity and tarnished his good name. Did Madara tell you about the original timeline? No. After the war ended, Obito was no longer considered a hero. From that day he became known as one of Konoha's biggest traitors, his name pronounced with disgust. The only reason it was not removed from the memorial stone was because Naruto asked to keep it there and Sensei explaining the truth when he came back to life, but the damage was already done, said Kakashi. More lies. You don't know what I had to endure. I changed. The Obito I used to be was an useless idiot who couldn't protect anyone, said Obito, unsure of his own words. Kakashi responded with a vicious kick that almost cracked his ribs. Don't ever talk about Obito like that. Your words are the proof that you are not the real one. That idiot saved me and gave me the means to protect my comrades with his Sharingan eye. The fact that you are using the other one to endanger them while wielding his face is an insult to his memory that I will resolve right now, you imposter, cried Kakashi. Stop calling me that. That's the name that the Alliance gave to you, get used to it. Look, it appears in our bingo book, page 4, said Kakashi while he threw a copy to his adversary. Obito looked uncertain at his profile, with a drawn picture of him with and without his face. Name, the imposter, sometimes refers himself as Madara, Tobi, or Obito Uchiha. He is none of them. Affiliation, Akatsuki, first in command when he pretends to be Madara, second in command with Madara around. Threat level, S+, it is highly recommended to flee on sight and alert the command center of the Ninja Alliance that will send agents specially prepared to fight him. Powers and abilities. Ability to turn intangible due to dimensional phasing, invulnerable in that state. The only weaknesses of that ability is that its maximum time in invulnerable state is estimated to be 5 minutes and that he needs to be solid to attack. Ability to travel to another dimension and drag people willing or unwillingly with him. The only effective defense against it is to avoid physical contact with him. Ability to instantly teleport to any place at will, stated to be superior to the Hiraition. Its only disadvantage when compared with the Yellow Flash's jutsu is that it can't be used in rapid succession. Sharingan Eyes of the highest level with all the abilities attributed to elite members of the Uchiha clan, see Uchiha Edo Tensei summons in page 124, include Genjutsu skill powerful enough to affect Tailed Beast. It is mandatory to keep the Jinchurikis of the Alliance away from him. The subject also can perform high-level Katan Jutsus attributed to the Uchiha and is proficient in the use of several ninja weapons with special focus in the armed Chapin. Sometimes he is fused with Madara Uchiha thanks to the use of the Shodai Hokage's cells in both their bodies. In that state his threat level is considered SS class. Bio, the subject is a self-aware bio weapon created by Madara fusing a half-Zetsu clone with the stolen corpse of Obito Uchiha. He was created in order to fulfill Madara's plans of world domination through the Infinite Tsukuyomi Plan, see Pag. 68, either pretending to be Madara or pretending to be Tobi, see Tobi's profile in page 35. The list of his crimes include, the Kyuubi attack on Konoha 13 years ago when fused with Madara. They unleashed the tailed beast and forced him to destroy the village until the Yondaime Hokage sealed the beast into his son Naruto Uzumaki at the cost of his life. The murder of Biwako Sarutobi, Kushina Uzumaki, several ANBU and medical personnel and wounds on Kushina Uzumaki that resulted in a coma. Mind control of the Yondaime Mizukage Yagura, leading to the purge of blood limits at Kiri and the consequent civil war it caused. Mind control of the Godaime Tsuchikage and leading to the recent attack to Konoha by the joint armies of Iwa and Oto. Due to the subject being fused to Obito Uchiha's remains, he believes that he is the real Obito, but he is not. All Konoha ninjas who were once familiar with Obito Uchiha are warned to not be fooled by the impostor's looks and demeanor and treat him as a very dangerous threat. Obito, no, the impostor fell to his knees while clutching the book. Kakashi stood beside him, a chidori in hand. The after you ruined Obito's reputation in the future sensei personally wrote your profile just to make sure that it wouldn't happen this time. Now everyone, including you, knows what you are, an imposter that shouldn't exist, he said with venom on his voice while he prepared to finish him. However, before he could bring justice, his opponent reacted in an unexpected way. "Yarrgh!" cried the fake while he clutched his head and his eyes took again that strange Sharingan appearance. Arf, arg, aha, mwa, mwaha. Mwaha. Gwahahahahahaha. You almost got me, Kakashi. Trying to blame me for Rin's death and even making me doubt about my identity with a fake profile, but it won't work. I know what happened and who I am, cried the impostor looking at the copy Nin with a sick smile. Those eyes, now I recognize them, it's the shape of Shursue's Mangenkyu. Madara must have used Shursue's eye to implant an order on the impostor to not believe whatever we said, no matter the evidence. It looks like he wanted to prevent the fake Obito to defect to our side again, but it's not like we want it to happen this time, thought Kakashi while remembering the talk with his sensei. Flashback: Kakashi was on his knees, completely shocked after Minato told him about Obito's fate. Obito, not only he was forced to see the atrocities from that thing, but everyone ended thinking that he was a traitor. Yes, but that's not a real problem in the afterlife. It doesn't matter if you are hated or vilified by the living, if you are a real hero. Then in the afterlife everyone in the afterlife will recognize you as such. The real tragedy happened later, intervened Minato. What do you mean? Asked Kakashi. What I'm going to tell you, it's a secret about the afterlife that I didn't share with anybody, not even Naruto's future self, only Kushina knows about it. Due to the sins of that impostor, the real Obito ended in hell, said Minato with a very somber tone. What? But why? They were different beings, cried Kakashi. Yes, they were, at least until the final moments of the war. Remember when I told you that the Sage of the Six Paths wanted to use chakra as a form of communication? The official story is that at one of the crucial points of the war Naruto managed to make a chakra link with the fake Obito and convince him to change his ways and fight for our side. What nobody alive knew was that when Naruto reached the fake's tainted soul, the chakra link reacted with the link that Obito's eye had with his soul, bringing it to the world of the living and merging it with the fake's soul, explained Minato. Kakashi couldn't believe what he was hearing. Their souls merged? That means that... Yes, Obito and the fake became the same being. Unfortunately, Obito's resurrection was not like mine and he couldn't remember anything from the afterlife. A while after the fusion, Obito died while helping Team 7 in the final battle against Kaguya, but it didn't stop him. He used what remained of the chakra link to temporarily send you both his eyes, allowing you to use Susanoo. When everything was over, due the fusion, Obito assumed all the fake's bad deeds, and instead of going to the same place as all the heroes, he was sent to hell for 70 years to pay for the imposter's crimes. His only relief was that he was not alone. Rin decided to go with him to divide in half his stay, said Minato. No. 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 It shouldn't have happened. Even if he would be released, Obito didn't have to pay for what that monster did. And neither Rin, cried Kakashi. You are right, intervened Minato. For that reason I didn't tell Naruto's future self what actually happened, and for that reason we will do our best to prevent another fusion between the imposter and Obito. I don't care if I'm being cruel denying him a chance of redemption. Lots of people died due to him in the original timeline before the circumstances of his change happened. It would be crueler to give priority to save his soul over the lives of those who didn't do anything wrong. Are you with me, Kakashi? His student nodded. Yes, I am. That imposter is not worth saving, he said. End flashback. The imposter tried to caught Kakashi in a genjutsu, but he easily dispelled it with the Sharingan. Then he tried to swallow him in flames, but they passed through him. It's useless. As long as we both have Obito's eyes, we won't be able to affect each other with ninjutsu nor genjutsu. It's a pity. I wanted to beat you with some of the jutsus that I got thanks to Obito to honor him, stated Kakashi. Stop talking and fight, cried the imposter while he threw a series of shurikens to Kakashi. The projectiles phased through the copy Nin without any effect. No, it doesn't work with me, you should know it better than anyone, we have the same powers, said Kakashi. Then let's settle this with taijutsu, cried the imposter while he charged at Kakashi. He tried to hit Kakashi with a roundhouse kick, but his opponent dodged it with ease and countered with a punch to his jaw that he barely blocked. Kakashi went on the offensive with a series of well-aimed attacks that the imposter tried to dodge, but they were too fast for him and was forced to fight on the defensive. The fight continued for several minutes in a similar way. No matter what the imposter tried, Kakashi always seemed to have the upper hand. This reminds me of old times, with you on the ground and I standing victorious. What's going on, Obito? You used to tell me that things would change once you have the Sharingan, but I don't see any difference, teased Kakashi. Shut up. This is only happening because you have one of my Sharingan eyes. You wouldn't beat me in a fair fight, protested the imposter. The one with both the Sharingan, the Shodai cells and a real-life cheat mode, talking about a fair fight. The only reason you can't beat me is because you got too used to become intangible and forgot how to fight opponents who could hit you back. You became an one-trick pony who never bothered to improve his fighting skill, basing all your fighting style in the Kamui. Now even with the fighting abilities from the Sharingan you can't beat me, who risked my life against opponents able to hurt me. You turned what should have been your triumph card into a crutch, and now that you are facing someone who can nullify it you are paying the price, stated Kakashi. The imposter didn't say anything. He got his hands on his pouch to reveal an armed chain that he used to attack Kakashi. Unlike the projectiles and the jutsus, it hit Kakashi, getting attached to his arm. What? Why? cried Kakashi while he looked at the chain in disbelief. Didn't expect that, didn't you? Said the impostor with a smirk. As long as I touch the chain it will affect you. Now prepare to. Oh, I expected it, interrupted Kakashi, now I can do this. Chidori Nagashi. Chidori stream, the copy Nin was surrounded by a burst of electricity that traveled through the chain and hit the impostor, causing serious burns and muscular spasms that paralyzed him. Gaiaha. A very useful jutsu, isn't it? Unfortunately I can't claim its creation, I just recreated it through sensei's description, said Kakashi while he advanced towards the defenseless impostor with a kunai in hand. Let's end this, it's time to retrieve Obito's remaining eye and put an end to your fake existence, he said while he prepared to remove the eye. Boom! A nearby explosion made him lose his balance. The impostor took advantage of it and used Kamui to teleport away. Kakashi was about to pursue him when he saw several ninjas of the alliance having trouble with the invaders. Damn it! Should I go after the impostor or help them, he thought. He saw the reflect of his maskless face in a nearby window and for a brief second he saw his father's face. Sorry, Dad, Obito, I shouldn't have made such a stupid question, he thought while he put back his mask and headed to help the ninjas. Kakashi finally faces Obito, but instead of being sorry for the fate of his friends he gives a big rant pointing what a big traitor he was, how Madara manipulated him and caused Rin's death that shouldn't have happened if he followed the rules about prisoners and the hypocrisy of his actions just to reveal at the end that he was not Obito at all but a Zetsu clone fused with Obito's remains. It was followed with curb stomp battle where Kakashi gives the impostor a beating until he has to abandon in order to save his comrades from the Ninja Alliance. Akatsuki's multiple attack at several posts of the Ninja Alliance was more effective than everyone expected. Gaara's group was against the two incarnations of Gaara's father, Kakuzu and several of the strongest Uzumakis and Uchihas. A group that included Mei, Fu and Shino was facing Sasori, Fuka and the previous Jinchuriki of the Eight Tails Gyuki. The Reikage was fighting against his predecessor without any high-level Hyuga to assist him. Kushina and Inoki were at Iwa's outskirts destroying the Mokuton trees that were bringing more Zetsu clones to the battle, while dealing with Ashina and Deidara. However, one of the most destructive fights was the one at the Valley of the End between Minato and Hashirama, with the soldiers of both sides staying aside while watching how both Hokages destroyed the monument in their clash of titans. Then there was an alliance group that included B, Yujito, Kuratsuchi, Temari, Kankuro, Chojuro, Ao, Lee, Sai, Yakumo, Chuji, Karui and Omoi, dealing with a mixture of normal ninjas from the minor villages, Zetsu clones and some Uchihas and Uzumaki Edo Tensei zombies. Kuratsuchi looked how B was sent flying away by the punch from the man who seemed to be the leader of the opposing group. Who the hell is that guy? I studied the most famous ninjas in history but I never saw him in the books. He is surrounded by a red aura that must give him that insane speed of power. And why is he dressed like Lee-san? She asked. That's Mado Dai, my adoptive grandfather, cried Lee. Damn it, of all the people that Madara could bring back with the Edo Tensei he had to choose Dai, commented Ao. Do you know about him? Asked Kuratsuchi. Yes, he is the career genin who single-handedly defeated most of the previous generation of swordsmen of the mist using the gates. The only reason he didn't kill them all was due to his own technique killing him. That's the reason Dai is probably the most dangerous ninjas brought with the Edo Tensei. If you can open all the gates you have for a moment the power of several Kages at the cost of your life, explained Ao. But one brought back with that technique is unkillable and infinite chakra. That means that he is practically unstoppable, realized Yakumo. Watch out, cried someone. They barely dodged a Yujito in full-tailed beast form who was sent flying towards them. That motherfucker. If things go like this I will have to resort to the tailed beast ball, commented B while he got up. He noticed someone at his side. The first thing he was a pair of well-formed legs with a matching body covered in a gray spandex jumpsuit, with an open rack that displayed a bust that could have competed with Tsunade's. "Wait a minute, I recognize that rack." "It's you, sensei," he said. He was responded with direct punch to the face. "What's that nonsense about resorting to Gyuki against a single opponent when you have so many allies? The thunder of your soul got weakened," cried the person he called sensei, a middle-aged, attractive woman with dark skin, very big ring pendants, several swords, and an impossible afro hairstyle. "I'm sorry, sensei. You are right, we should focus to combine our powers to defeat our opponent," apologized B. "Who is that?" asked Chuji. "She calls herself Queen Shade, she is the one who trained B sensei in the art of the sword, and to reach the thunder of his soul," commented Karui, remembering all the work it took to make her sensei change his soulish ways, becoming a rapper in the process. "So that's the reason he likes middle-aged women with big boobs. She is right to a point, with our combined abilities we should be able to defeat even Dai, but the question is how," commented Kankuro. "Don't give up, Kankuro. As my student you are one of the most talented puppeteers that Suna ever produced. Keep fighting and the winds of creativity will refresh you," cried a voice. Everyone turned to see a man dressed in a black jumpsuit, with puppet containing scrolls and very histrionic makeup, or war paint, whatever. "Sensei. It's been years since the last time we met," exclaimed Kankuro. "His sensei? What about Baki-san?" asked Yakumo to a sighing Temari. "Baki was designated as the sensei of our team when it was formed, but before that we the San siblings were trained by individual tutors. Kankuros was that man. His name is Amakuso, and although he is a great puppeteer he is also obsessed to dress with black jumpsuits in the desert, to wear makeup and ramble about the winds of creativity," explained Temari. "Kankuro doesn't seem to ramble about those winds of creativity," commented Sai. Gaara threatened to dismember Kankuro if he dared to mention those wind of creativity 2 days after he finished his training with Amakuso, explained Temari. "Do you think that those winds of creativity would improve my drawings? Perhaps I should ask Amakuso to teach me about them," commented Sai. "No," cried Yakumo and Temari at the same time. "Okay, who is the fucker who is giving so much trouble to this division?" asked a loud female voice. They turned to see a woman in her late 20s armed with a bokken dressed in the outdated male uniform of the Uzumaki delinquents, including a worn-out cap, wooden sandals and an open jacket that showed her bare torso, with some bandages covering her generous chest. "Sensei, you came here," said Chojuro before the woman hit him with her bokken. "What the hell happened to you, you sissy? Where are you streams of passion? I didn't train you to be a faint-hearted pushover, I trained you to be a man," she cried while she hit him again, knocking out his glasses. At the time the glasses abandoned Chojuro's face he began to expel a very vicious killing intent comparable to Zabuza. "Oraya! How you dare to strike me, woman? Nobody attacks me and gets away with it," cried Chojuro while he delivered a vicious punch to the woman that she blocked with the bokken but displaced her several meters away. "It's nice to see that the real you is still there and that your streams of passion are as strong as ever. Now we have a chance to win," commented the woman. Whatever. I will show that mustached zombie that the new generation of the swordsman of the mist is nothing like the one he wiped out," stated Chojuro while he combed his hair back and gave his sword the shape of a baseball bat. Everyone looked dumbfounded at them, then at Ao. "It's a long story, she is Kyoko Terumi, a cousin of the Mizukage and Chojuro's swords master. He became so vicious with the streams of passion that we have to seal his belligerence with a seal that is placed on his glasses," he explained while he took the lens. "Nobody saw Dai coming at them at high speed until it was too late. Impressive entry. Dynamic entry. 2 blurs intercepted Dai from the side, sending him away. Said blurs happened to be a ninja from Konoha and another from IWA. The ninja from Konoha was dressed with a green and tight spandex jumpsuit with a jonin jacket and sported a bowl-cut hair and eyebrows that seemed to be alive. The ninja from IWA was dressed in a similar way than the one from IWA but in brown color. The most striking part of his appearance was his mullet hairstyle. "Dad-sensei. You came," cried Lee. "Oh, Nan came too," thought Kurotsuchi. "That was an impressive attack, your technique was outstanding. The flames of youth really shine on you. By the way, my name is Mato Guy," commented the Konoha ninja. "The same goes for you. It's been years since I saw such a great kick. The shards of hope must have brought us together. I'm Tossum Nan. If we fight together we will find a way to defeat such powerful opponent," responded the IWA. None of the sane ninjas of Alliance said anything. Madara won and got us into the infinite Tsukuyomi, but instead of trapping people into pleasant dreams he decided to switch to nightmares. So each village has its own powerful weirdo. "We are not so different after all, Guy. Is that you?" asked Dai, still covered in the red aura of the gates. "Yes, father, is me," responded Guy, clearly touched to see his father again. "You became a man, and that boy, is he your son?" asked Dai while he pointed at Lee. "Yes, father. He is Mato Rock Lee and he is the best son you can imagine," cried Guy. "I'm very honored to meet you, grandfather," exclaimed Lee while making an exaggerated reverence. "I'm very happy to see that you started a family, my son. Unfortunately we will have to fight. Come on, give me the best gift a son can give to his father, surpassing him," cried Dai while he charged. "I will show you, father. See the power of my flames of youth," cried Guy. "And he is not alone. You will also have to face my shards of hope," cried Nan. "And my streams of passion," cried Kyoko while she joined the brawl. "And the winds of creativity," added Amakuso, jumping it too. "And of course the thunder of soul," cried Queen Shade. The 5 ninjas from different village attacked his invincible opponent like they were one, and suddenly they began to shine with auras that resembled the 5 basic elements. Flames for Guy. Earth for Nan. Water for Kyoko. Wind for Amakuso. Thunder for Queen Shade. Then the auras ascended high above and began to merge together, taking a humanoid form. When the process ended, there stood a muscular man with Guy's eyebrows, Nan's mullet hairstyle, Queen's rack, Amakuso's paint job and Kyoko's sandals. "By your powers combined, I am Captain Element, TM, cried the new being. "Go Element," cried his creators. Captain Element, TM, looked at Dai and the rest of enemies. "You are powerful, but I'm more because I held the combined power of some of the strongest ninjas from the 5 villages. Prepare to see my most powerful technique," while he began to chakra from the 5 elements on his hands. All the enemies got on guard. The 5 elements summoned by Captain Element, TM, began to take the form of characters. "I see, it must be a sealing technique," thought Temari. Then the characters began to move until they formed a phrase. It said, "Kakashi finally faces Obito," but instead of being sorry for the fate of his friends he gives a big rant pointing what a big traitor he was. How Madara manipulated him and caused Rin's death that shouldn't have happened if he followed the rules about prisoners, and the hypocrisy of his actions just to reveal at the end that he was not Obito at all but a Zetsu clone fused with Obito's remains. It was followed with curb stomp battle where Kakashi gives the imposter a beating until he has to abandon in order to save his comrades from the Ninja Alliance. Akatsuki's multiple attack at several posts of the Ninja Alliance was more effective than everyone expected. Gaara and Rashi's group was against the 2 incarnations of Gaara's father, Kakuzu, and several of the strongest Uzumakis and Uchihas. A group that included Mei, Fu and Shino was facing Sasori, Fuka and the previous Jinchuriki of the 8 Tails Gyuki. The Raikage was fighting against his predecessor without any high-level Hyuga to assist him. Kushina and Inoki were at Iwa's outskirts destroying the Mokuton trees that were bringing more Zetsu clones to the battle, while dealing with Ashina and Deidara. However, one of the most destructive fights was the one at the Valley of the End between Minato and Hashirama, with the soldiers of both sides staying aside while watching how both Hokages destroyed the monument in their clash of titans. Then there was an alliance group that included Yujito, Kuratsuchi, Temari, Kankuro, Chojuro, Ao, Lee, Sai, Yakumo, Chuji, Karui and Omoi, dealing with a mixture of normal ninjas from the minor villages, Zetsu clones and some Uchihas and Uzumaki Edo Tensei zombies. Kuratsuchi looked how B was sent flying away by the punch from the man who seemed to be the leader of the opposing group. Who the hell is that guy? I studied the most famous ninjas in history, but I never saw him in the books. He is surrounded by a red aura that must give him that insane speed of power. And why is he dressed like Lee-san? She asked. That's Mato Dai, my adoptive grandfather, cried Lee. Damn it, of all the people that Madara could bring back with the Edo Tensei, he had to choose Dai, commented Ao. Do you know about him? Asked Kuratsuchi. Yes, he is the career genin who single-handedly defeated most of the previous generation of swordsmen of the mist using the gates. The only reason he didn't kill them all was due to his own technique killing him. That's the reason Dai is probably the most dangerous ninjas brought with the Edo Tensei. If you can open all the gates you have for a moment the power of several Kages at the cost of your life, explained Ao. But one brought back with that technique is unkillable and infinite chakra. That means that he is practically unstoppable, realized Yakumo. Watch out, cried someone. They barely dodged a Yujito in full-tailed beast form who was sent flying towards them. That motherfucker. If things go like this I will have to resort to the tailed beast ball, commented B while he got up. He noticed someone at his side. The first thing he was a pair of well-formed legs with a matching body covered in a gray spandex jumpsuit, with an open rack that displayed a bust that could have competed with Tsunade's. Wait a minute, I recognize that rack. It's you, sensei, he said. He was responded with direct punch to the face. What's that nonsense about resorting to Gyuki against a single opponent when you have so many allies? The thunder of your soul got weakened, cried the person he called sensei, a middle-aged, attractive woman with dark skin, very big ring pendants, several swords, and an impossible afro hairstyle. I'm sorry, sensei. You are right, we should focus to combine our powers to defeat our opponent, apologized B. Who is that? Asked Chuji. She calls herself Queen Shade. She is the one who trained B-sensei in the art of the sword, and to reach the thunder of his soul, commented Karui, remembering all the work it took to make her sensei change his soulish ways, becoming a rapper in the process. So that's the reason he likes middle-aged women with big boobs. She is right to a point. With our combined abilities we should be able to defeat even Dai, but the question is how, commented Kankuro. Don't give up, Kankuro. As my student you are one of the most talented puppeteers that Suna ever produced. Keep fighting and the winds of creativity will refresh you, cried a voice. Everyone turned to see a man dressed in a black jumpsuit, with puppet containing scrolls and very histrionic makeup, or war paint, whatever. Sensei. It's been years since the last time we met, exclaimed Kankuro. His sensei? What about Baki-san? Asked Yakumo to a sighing Temari. Baki was designated as the sensei of our team when it was formed, but before that we the Sand siblings were trained by individual tutors. Kankuros was that man. His name is Amakuso, and although he is a great puppeteer he is also obsessed to dress with black jumpsuits in the desert, to wear makeup and ramble about the winds of creativity, explained Temari. Kankuro doesn't seem to ramble about those winds of creativity, commented Sai. Gaara threatened to dismember Kankuro if he dared to mention those wind of creativity 2 days after he finished his training with Amakuso, explained Temari. Do you think that those winds of creativity would improve my drawings? Perhaps I should ask Amakuso to teach me about them, commented Sai. No, cried Yakumo and Temari at the same time. Okay, who is the fucker who is giving so much trouble to this division? Asked a loud female voice. They turned to see a woman in her late 20s armed with a bokken dressed in the outdated male uniform of the Uzumaki delinquents, including a worn-out cap, wooden sandals and an open jacket that showed her bare torso, with some bandages covering her generous chest. "Sensei, you came here," said Chojuro before the woman hit him with her bokken. "What the hell happened to you, you sissy? Where are you streams of passion? I didn't train you to be a faint-hearted pushover, I trained you to be a man," she cried while she hit him again, knocking out his glasses. At the time the glasses abandoned Chojuro's face, he began to expel a very vicious killing intent comparable to Zabuza. "Oraya! How you dare to strike me, woman? Nobody attacks me and gets away with it," cried Chojuro while he delivered a vicious punch to the woman that she blocked with the bokken, although it displaced her several meters away. "It's nice to see that the real you is still there and that your streams of passion are as strong as ever. Now we have a chance to win," commented the woman. Whatever. "I will show that mustached zombie that the new generation of the Swordsman of the Mist is nothing like the one he wiped out," stated Chojuro while he combed his hair back and gave his sword the shape of a baseball bat. Everyone looked dumbfounded at them, then at Ao. Long story, she is Kyoko Terumi, a cousin of the Mizukage and Chojuro's swords master. He became so vicious with the streams of passion that we have to suppress his belligerence with a seal placed on his glasses, he explained while he retrieved the lens. Nobody saw Dai coming at them at high speed until it was too late. Impressive entry. Dynamic entry. 2 blurs intercepted Dai from the side, sending him away. Said blurs happened to be a ninja from Konoha and another from IWA. The ninja from Konoha was dressed with a green and tight spandex jumpsuit with a jonin jacket and sported a bowl-cut hair and eyebrows that seemed to be alive. The ninja from IWA was dressed in a similar way than the one from IWA but in brown color. The most striking part of his appearance was his mullet hairstyle. "Dad sensei. You came," cried Lee. "Oh, Nan came too," thought Kuratsuchi. "That was an impressive attack, your technique was outstanding. The flames of youth really shine on you. By the way, my name is Mato Guy," commented the Konoha ninja. "The same goes for you. It's been years since I saw such a great kick. The shards of hope must have brought us together. I'm Tossum Nan. If we fight together we will find a way to defeat such powerful opponent," responded the IWA. None of the sane ninjas of Alliance said anything. Madara won and got us into the infinite Tsukuyomi, but instead of trapping people into pleasant dreams he decided to switch to nightmares. So each village has its own powerful weirdo. "We are not so different after all, Guy, is that you?" asked Dai, still covered in the red aura of the gates. "Yes, father is me," responded Guy, clearly touched to see his father again. "You became a man, and that boy, is he your son?" asked Dai while he pointed at Lee. "Yes, father. He is Mato Rock Lee and he is the best son you can imagine," cried Guy. "I'm very honored to meet you, grandfather," exclaimed Lee while making an exaggerated reverence. "I'm very happy to see that you started a family, my son. Unfortunately we will have to fight. Come on, give me the best gift a son can give to his father surpassing him," cried Dai while he charged. "I will show you, father. See the power of my flames of youth," cried Guy. "And he is not alone. You will also have to face my shards of hope," cried Nan. "And my streams of passion," cried Kyoko while she joined the brawl. "And the winds of creativity," added Amakuso, jumping it too. "And of course the thunder of soul," cried Queen Shade. The 5 ninjas from different village attacked their invincible opponent like they were one. Omoy felt a chill on his spine. For some reason I have the feeling that they are going to combine their powers and create a superheroic but gaudy warrior who will cause such embarrassment to the alliance that the Kages will end it and then Madara will win the war and he will enslave us in an endless dream where all my predictions become true, he thought. However, nothing of that happened. The gaudy ninjas, as he named them, just hit die with a perfect and slightly disturbing coordination. Perhaps we will have a chance against him, he thought. With Gaara and Rashi, the Jinchuriki of the four-tailed beast looked in annoyance how the Yondaime Kazekage used his gold dust to create several heavy projectiles aimed at his allies, while the Uzumaki and Uchiha zombies took advantage of gold superconductivity to electrify them with lighting jutsus. Here he goes again, he thought while he blocked the projectiles aimed at his allies with a magma barrier. Why there are so many lighting users among those zombies? Neither the Uzumakis nor the Uchihas were known for having that affinity, commented Son Goku. It's those scrolls they put in their mouths while they make the Tora hand sign, the jutsu is inscribed on it and they just add their chakra. Those scrolls were one of the Uzumaki's most feared weapons because they allowed them to use an insane variety of jutsus without having to develop the corresponding elemental affinity or to practice the jutsu as long as they had enough chakra reserves and chakra control to activate them, explained Rashi. I suppose that those scrolls were one of the many reasons Iwa and other villages wiped out Yuzu, deducted Son Goku while Rashi tried to hit Raza with magma projectiles that he dodged. Yes, responded Rashi, to train an effective ninja takes time and a good chunk of that time is spent learning and practicing jutsus. Those scrolls allowed to skip that part, meaning that an average Uzumaki genin with fair chakra control just needed to be equipped with some of those scrolls to have the ninjutsu level of an expert chunin, but that was not the most scary thing about those scrolls. What do you mean? With the use of the scrolls, a ninja doesn't have to worry about his elemental affinity or knowing the right jutsus for a specific situation. Yuzu's authorities just had to lend a ninja the proper scrolls to completely change his jutsu arsenal, giving their village a versatility never seen before, explained Rashi. And thus the decision to gang up to destroy them instead of trying to make a treaty with them, typical human behavior, destroying what could be a threat. I'm grateful that we tailed beasts are immortal, remarked Son Goku. Things are not like that anymore, the villages changed and now they are working together, yes, against an enemy who is perceived as a greater threat than Yuzu was. Don't misinterpret me, I know that Madara is a real threat who has to be destroyed. I just want to warn you now that you got a full grasp of my power and became stronger than ever. In the case the alliance wins the war and the villages end making a great treaty, it would be very likely that many higher-ups may decide that Jinchurikis became too powerful to be allowed to wander free or to exist, pointed the ape. Believe me, I'm very aware of that. For that reason when this is over I'm planning to find Han, teach him and the other kids how to control your siblings' powers and make a mutual protection pact with them. A Jinchuriki with full control is worth a ninja army. It's time for us to be respected, said Rashi. Nice to hear that what we share the same way of thinking. I wonder how are Shikaku and Gaara doing with that new technique they developed, thought Son Goku while they kept their attack on Raza. Nearby, several squads of Uchihas, Zetsas and regular ninjas from the minor villages allied with Akatsuki were besieging a small castle full on alliance ninjas using heavy artillery like catapults, ballistas and kunai launchers. The most interesting part of that castle was not that it had Shikaku's head on the top, no, what made said castle special was the fact that it was made of compressed sand and that it could move on its own. Said castle was actually the results of Gaara's most recent technique, developed with the help of the Sandaime Kazekage and made possible by a surprisingly cooperative Shikaku. When Minato Namikaze saw the technique he named it Suna's Mighty Mobile Fortress of Shikaku. Said tailed beast liked the name so much that he refused to collaborate with it if they renamed it, much to the Kazekage's chagrin. Slowly but unstoppable, the fortress was advancing towards the enemy ninjas who tried to destroy it with jutsus from all elements. Earth jutsus didn't work, the rocks were absorbed by the castle walls and crushed to make more sand. The few wind users in the enemy forces just saw how their attacks passed through the walls without causing any damage. Several Uchihas tried to combine fire jutsus to melt the wall sand just to see how the castle threw the molten sand towards them. Something similar happened with the lighting users. Many of them managed to turn parts of the wall into glass pieces that were quickly replaced by sand and then used as ammunition for the catapults. The jutsus that seemed to work the best were water ones that turned the sand into mud, but said tactic was countered by the fire users inside the castle who dried it. Horrified at the gigantic juggernaut of the alliance, several ninjas from the minor villages fled, realizing that they couldn't stop such adversaries, especially after several of their immortal zombie comrades tried to climb the castle just to be crushed, absorbed by the walls, crushed and liberated by the sealer ninjas inside the castle. Gaara was in a sand throne in the center of the fortress, using his sand eye technique to see what was happening on the outside with Baki guarding him. "How are things going, Gaara?" asked the Jonin. "It's going fine, sensei. Our enemies realize this castle can regenerate its sand quicker than they can destroy it, and that its artillery has higher range than their jutsus," responded Gaara. "I still can't believe that you managed to develop a technique like this. It's something never seen in the history of warfare. I couldn't have achieved it without Kazekage-sama's help, but the main reason it works is because Shikaku is doing half the work," pointed Gaara. "How is that possible? He used to hate you. He says that he is only doing it because he wants to show the rest of tailed beasts, especially Kurama, and the puny humans, what he is capable of. That he won't allow me to look weak and bring people to the conclusion that he is weak too," said Gaara. "And don't forget that, I'm only helping you because we share the same interests," remarked Shikaku. The battle continued for several minutes in the alliance's favor until the enemy forces retreated and a single figure advanced towards the fortress. It was Raza, the Yondaime Kazekage and Gaara's father, or more precisely, his evil self. "Your father's darkness turning into a completely separate being. Even from here I can feel his foul chakra. I still can't believe that someone who did so much for Suna could create such being," whispered Baki. "For me is not so strange, that man is the side of my father who sent assassins to his own son when I was labeled as a failed weapon, the same one who made me kill the only person who cared for me and tried to do the same with Temari before his death," said Gaara. "I thought that it was due to the control seal that Sasori placed on him," said Baki. "Yes, but what that seal did was to magnify the darkness that was already within my father and gave it more independence, giving birth to that Yami Raza. I know it because I have a similar darkness myself," pointed Gaara. "What are you talking about?" asked his sensei. "Baki, don't pretend that the person I used to be during the years between Yashimaru's death and my meeting with Naruto never existed. I was a heartless murderer who killed strong ninjas to feel alive, or whoever pissed me off," chastised Gaara. Baki didn't say anything, but his cold expression in the visible part of his face said that he didn't forget about those days. "The murderer I was didn't just disappear when Naruto saved me, he is still within me, whispering to destroy those who call my wrath, wanting to get in charge again. I won't deny his existence, but I won't allow him to control me. He is part of me but not all what I am," stated Gaara. Baki looked at him with the pride of a sensei on a successful student. "Raza, if only you could see the man your son has become. He didn't turn into a weapon to save Suna but into the hope for a better future for the village. It's a pity that we are facing that twisted version of you instead of the one I called my friend." Meanwhile, said evil version of Raza was standing in front of the fortress with a sick smile. "Gaara, Gaara. Didn't anybody tell you that you are too old to play with sand castles anymore? Come here and greet your father," he said. The fortress stopped and Yami Raza smiled when Gaara appeared on one of the highest towers. Before Yami Raza could say anything, a sand tendril emerged from the fortress and captured him. "Desert funeral," said Gaara while he closed his hand and the sand crushed his prey. The sealing ninjas moved to apply the liberation seal, but Gaara stopped them with a gesture. "It's not him, it was just a disguised puppet," he said. The ninjas nodded and retreated back into the fortress. "Were they looking at you with respect?" "Not bad, Gaara. Not only you managed to improve your social skills while keeping as ruthless as ever but got even stronger. You would have made me proud if you didn't show that you cared about those pawns," said Yami Raza while he emerged from the ground. "What makes you think that I care about what a mockery of my father thinks about me? I would be really concerned if for some reason you felt proud of me," responded Gaara in a cold tone. "How rude. I think that you hanged around too much with that Uzumaki friend of yours. You hurt me, I just came here wanting to have a family meeting, said Yami Raza in a mocking tone. I even brought a special surprise for my kids. It's a pity that Temari and Kankuro are not here, but I can show it to them later. Gaara came to the conclusion that he didn't like at all Yami Raza and his twisted sense of humor. No wonder his father never made jokes. Keep your surprise for yourself and let's end this, he said while several sand tendrils emerged from the fortress. Come on Gaara, I understand that you don't want to see me after trying to kill you and sacrificing Yashimaru, but I think that you will want to meet her, said Yami Raza while a figure emerged from the ground. The pitch-black eyes and the cracked features confirmed that the newcomer was another Edo Tensei zombie but not a regular one. The Sand Jinchuriki paled. From Gaara's perspective, the Edo Tensei zombies were just tough enemies that just required more work to kill, nothing else. He didn't understand the psychological effect it had on his comrades, until that moment. Yami Raza smiled, satisfied that his plan got the desired effect. But this is nothing, my dear son, this is just the beginning of the Twisted Hope plan. You will know what is to feel despair again, he thought. He put his hand on the woman's shoulder. Gaara, let me introduce you to the first person who died due to you, your mother Karura, he said. Gaara didn't listen to him, his eyes couldn't leave the sight of the person who gave her life for him. Mother, he babbled. Karura looked at him and smiled. Gee Gaara? It's that you. I can't believe you grew so much, you were so little. I'm very happy to see that you are doing fine. I'm sorry that we had to meet in these circumstances, but I don't regret it because it gave me the chance to see you, she said. Even as a zombie mother has a beautiful smile, thought Gaara. Something snapped inside him. He looked at his mother with a sad smile. I'm also happy to see you, mother. I'm sorry for what I'm about to do to you. I'll try to make it as quick as possible. Also I want you to understand that what you are going to see, it's a side of me that I'm not proud about and that most the time I'm not like that, he said. I understand, my son. We are ninjas, we have to do things that we are not always proud of, said Karura while she got on guard. Gaara then turned his attention towards Raza. Baki and the rest of the ninjas within the fortress felt the place filled with a killing intent they didn't feel since Gaara's worst days. No, not again. Please Gaara, don't turn into that monster again, thought Baki. The tower where Gaara stood dissolved into sand and began to cover him. You will pay for what you did disturbing mother's rest. I don't know if you can feel pain, but I will make sure that you will regret having an immortal body that can't die. Come Shikaku, let's remind the dead the meaning of fear, cried Gaara while the tailed beast agreed with glee. With the Reikage, the Alliance ninjas looked at the Yondaime Reikage and his predecessor the Sandaime Reikage. When the fight started they realized that they were no match for the old Kage and they ordered them to stay aside while he fought his father. Father and son had been fighting for almost an hour without any of the sides getting advantage over the other. A charged towards his father at his highest speed while he gathered all his strength in his right arm. Lariat, he cried while he caught his father's neck, dragging him several meters away. However, it didn't do anything to the Sandaime Reikage, who got up completely unscathed. Damn it! The commander is clearly stronger and faster than the Sandaime, but he can't hurt him, he is completely invulnerable, it's only a question of time until Asama gets tired and loses, commented Ebisu. I got word from the headquarters, said Tango, the communications officer from Kumo. They are going to send a Naruto clone to replace the one who got destroyed at the beginning of the fight, shielding our medic, and a ninja who will help the Reikage to defeat Sandaime-sama, a ninja able to help the commander. It must be Hayashi-san, he is the only Hyuga skilled enough to hit the Sandaime, realized Ebisu. No, he was sent to protect the daimyos and can't leave his post, they will send somebody else, said Tango. Suddenly two figures appeared in the battlefield via teleportation. One was a new Naruto clone and the other was a Kumo nin. It's Darui-san, realized Ebisu, for what I know he was a student of the Sandaime Reikage, wasn't he? Tango nodded. Yes, but I don't know why they sent him, perhaps he may know a way to pierce Sandaime-sama's armor, he said. The Sandaime Reikage stopped the fight to look at his former pupil. Darui, you grew up a lot, tell me, did you keep training with the storm release I taught you? He asked. Yes, I did sensei, I trained with the storm release to my best, as Asama trained with the lighting armor, said Darui, doing his best to keep his emotions in check. Then I suppose that you are already better than me with it because A's lighting armor completely beat mine in speed and strength, responded the Sandaime with a smirk. But not in protection, remarked A. I never knew why I couldn't make a lighting armor that made me as tough as you until someone that you met in the afterlife explained your plan to us. My plan? I never told anyone about it. Oh, I see. Madara said that those who are brought back with Edo Tensei don't have any memories of the afterlife. I suppose that I told the Yellow Flash about it, realized the Sandaime Reikage. What plan is he talking about? Thought Ebisu while reading their lips. That's it, father. Your plan was to teach me only the lighting armor while doing the same with Darui and the storm release instead of teaching us both techniques. Your purpose was for each of us to develop the technique we were taught to its maximum potential before teaching each one the remaining technique, said A. His father nodded. That's right, but unfortunately I died before I told you about my plan or the secret of my invulnerability, but I suppose that you already realized it, don't you? He asked. Yes sensei, we did. Your invulnerable lighting armor is actually a storm release armor. It combines water's adaptability with lighting's conductivity to disperse any physical or elemental attack. Only attacks made of composite elements like storm itself can pierce it, said Darui. So that's the reason not even my future self's Futon Rasen Shuriken couldn't hurt him, but his own piercing attack did. The storm release armor is an extreme case of the rock scissors paper game of the chakra affinities, realized the Naruto clone. You got it. So, did you teach each other the techniques you didn't know? Asked the Sandaime. No, we just realized about it recently and with the war we didn't have time to train, said Darui. Too bad, but I bet that you have a plan. You'll better execute it now because the one controlling me is ordering me to destroy you as soon as possible, said the Sandaime while he charged at them. Everyone, attack, ordered A. Ebisu gulped while his comrades and him charged at the man who kept at bay an army of 10,000 for several days when he was alive. The Supreme Commander looked at his right-hand man. Darui, what kind of plan do you have? One that involves our universal chakra converser here, responded Darui while he looked at Naruto. Oh I see, you want to focus the storm element through me and I will charge Aojizen with it so he will have the same power as his dad, realized Naruto. That's a great idea. But this is a clone, wouldn't he dispel when you begin to channel the storm element? Asked A. I thought about it, I will have to channel the chakra in small quantities to allow him to adapt to it. Unfortunately it will require at least 6 minutes to charge you and you only will have it for 3, that's the time limit you will have to defeat Sandaime-sama, said Darui. They looked how the Alliance ninjas were literally sent flying by the Sandaime's attacks. Then let's do it, cried A. And so Darui placed his hand on the clone's shoulder and the clone did the same with A. The clone began to feel the storm chakra and how it erected his hair. Hey, it's not that bad. Wah-wah, he cried. He began to feel that he was losing conscience but realized that if he dissolved he would leave his comrades completely defenseless. He clenched his teeth and endured the pain while he focused the storm chakra into A, who also seemed to be in pain. Damn it, it hurts. I may be a clone but I'm also a part of this army. If a clone of the boss alternate self could defeat this guy by himself, the least I should do would be endure this, he thought. Darui looked how his sensei did 2 armed lariat to those Konoha Chunins who were always together. Those are Izumo and Kotetsu, aren't they? That gay couple that didn't get out from the closet. And that one with the twisted tango, and that's F. Let's hope that the rest of our comrades manage to hold the line or everything will be lost. After a battle-worn Bardock failed to convince his scion peers that Frisia was going to betray them, he decided to fight the tyrant by himself. After ramming through Frisia's soldiers, he finally met the traitor and attacked him with his final spirit cannon only to see how it was absorbed by nothing by Frisia's supernova. Bardock didn't notice how Frisia's men near him were also consumed by the tyrant's attack. He didn't even feel pain, just regret for his inability to defeat Frisia and avenge his companions and protect his race. In another reality, Bardock would have get a vision of the future with his younger son Kakarot confronting Frisia and defeating the enemy of the Scion race, but this reality didn't have that last act of mercy towards him, only regret for his failures. The Scion warrior cursed his pride. Just because he raised through the ranks of the Scions from a low-class warrior to an elite due to his preference of challenging missions that forced his Scion blood to make his stronger didn't mean that he could face someone that the natural-born elites like King Vegeta spoke with fear. Hell, he should realize that he didn't have the chance to win when he couldn't defeat that Dodoria, who was not even the strongest of Frisia's minions. He was not that stupid. The other Scion's refusal to join him to fight Frisia really infuriated him and clouded his judgment. At that moment he should have realized that there was nothing that he could do to save his planet, that he should have taken advantage of the fact that Frisia's forces thought that he was dead, leave Vegeta and go to a backwater planet to train and become strong enough to defeat Frisia. He knew that with enough time and training he would have been able to surpass Frisia. The planet choice would have been easy. He would have headed to Earth where Kakarot was sent. There, he would deactivate Kakarot's program to destroy all intelligent lifeforms in the planet and raise him to become a superb Scion warrior as should have happened. That's what Jin would have wanted. Bardock's heart stopped at the thoughts of his mate. Jin. Jin is down there in Vegeta. Jin, the mother of both his sons, a brave but not very strong former member of his team, an unusual soft-hearted female that ended leaving the team in order to work in the food supply teams. Her gentle nature was really rare among Scions. Bardock never imagined that she would change his behavior too much, making him care for his planet, people, comrades and family more than what was expected from a Scion. His family. His older son Raditz was out there. Bardock regretted not telling to not be overconfident and satisfied of his current strength and become stronger. He wondered what would happen to him, if Frisia would kill him or keep using him as a soldier of his army. Kakarot, his youngest son. Deemed too weak to be raised as a normal Scion and being sent to a distant planet with weak inhabitants with the purpose to exterminate them over time. Now with his incoming death, Bardock realized that he didn't want to see Kakarot because he was too weak but because he didn't want to bond with him just to be separated afterwards. And then there was Jin. As a Scion warrior, Bardock accepted that someday he would die in battle facing someone stronger than him. That was the way of their race, kill or be killed, the strong rules, all of them accepted that. From that point of view, a small part of Bardock accepted the destruction of the Scions at Frisia's hands as he was the strongest. But Jin was different. She was not like other Scions, she was no warrior. She shouldn't share the same fate as the rest of their race. That was not fair. And then, Bardock came to a realization that what was happening to the Scions right now was the same thing Scions have been doing to other races across the universe under Frisia's orders. What have we done? He thought while some tears formed in his eyes. Bardock no longer cared for his pride or his life or the lives of his fellow Scions. He only cared that the person she cared about was going to receive a fate she didn't deserve. He cursed himself for his pride. He cursed himself for not spending more time with her or Raditz. He cursed himself for not telling her how much he loved her. But specially, he cursed himself for his weakness, for not being able to protect her. Jinny, he screamed in a final cry that contained all his regret, sorrow, anger and frustration while he was engulfed by the tyrant's attack. With Frisia the leader of the planet trade flanked by Zarbon and Dodoria looked in glee how that upstart Scion got disappeared within his supernova attack. That would be the end of those monkeys. Part of him regretted it. They were quite effective soldiers, weak compared to his elites but too stillborn, too numerous and with that annoying ability to get stronger and stronger each day. Better to weed them before they bite their leash. Suddenly, his supernova exploded before it hit planet Vegeta, killing all the soldiers in the surroundings. "What's going on?" he asked. Before he got an answer, all the scouters of his remaining soldiers began to explode, as happens whenever they detected power level beyond their scales. "Lord Frisia, look!" exclaimed Zarbon while he pointed downwards. There stood the lone scion who defied his army, surprisingly alive. But he looked different. He was surrounded by a golden aura, his hair, once black, now had a similar golden tone and his eyes now looked blue. Frisia felt a chill through his spine, something that he only felt at the presence of the god of destruction Beerus. He was not afraid, but he knew that that scion had to die. "Fraza!" cried Bardock while he charged towards his enemy. He didn't care how he survived or what happened to him, he only knew that he was now experimenting a power surge that dwarfed whatever he felt under Ozara form. He only knew that a new power within him arise to give Jin and him a new chance to change their fate. Frisia looked with rage how the golden scion trampled through his soldiers, annihilating them like they were mere flies. Zarbon and Dodoria looked visibly nervous as Frisia stood up from his flying chair. "You are a very unusual scion, you caught my interest, I think I will deal with you myself." "What's your name, monkey?" he asked. Bardock stopped his massacre and looked at the tyrant with pure. "I'm a scion from planet Vegeta to defeat you." The legendary warrior, with a cold heart ignited by rage.
That's it for this video. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and follow me on my other social media accounts. Anime God here, and I'm signing off.